In our previous tutorial we added AI cars to a game. Now we are able to drive together with these AI cars. And what we'll do in this tutorial, we'll start from detecting our current player car position. So currently I'm the second one, so I wanna show that I'm the second one. And if I win the game, I wanna show that I'm the first one, and so on. So I wanna detect the player position among other AI cars. So that's what we'll start to do today. So for this procedure we go to the race manager script, and here first of all we need to create new variables. First variable, what is our player car? We create a reference to our player car and add this car object here. Next we create a reference to our AI cars, and instead of creating an array we'll create the list variable. Why we create list variable? Because it's probably will be more easy to configure for another races than array. So different races will have different list of cars. Next, I will also display the position of our car, so I'll create public integer variable player position. Then we go to the update function. Here we have a different logic for displaying the player position. We consider three different cases. For example, by default our player position will be equal to 1, and then by different cases we will increase it. For example, if AI car is bigger lap than the player car, we increase the player position. So we know that AI car is faster, so we increment this value. Another case, if we are on the same lap with the AI car, then we compare the number of the checkpoint. If the AI car has the bigger number of the checkpoint than the player car, then we also increment this value. And the last case, if we on the same checkpoint, so we are moving between the same checkpoints with the AI car, then we compare distance to the next checkpoint. If AI car is closer to the next checkpoint, then we also increment this value. So now let's write these three cases. We wanna get access to every car, AI car in the list, so we used for each function. I create new variable AI car in all AI cars. So every step this function will get access to the list for every variable in the list and copy this variable there. And then we compare lap for every car. If AI car current lap bigger than player car current lap, then we simply increment player position plus plus. So again, for each function executed every step it gets access to the cars in the list, all AI cars. For example, first of all to the first car, it copies to the AI car, then compares lap between AI car and current lap. If it's bigger, we increment the player position, then it goes to the second car in the list, also copy it here to this variable, and then we compare them, and so on, every step with the cars in the list. That's what for the first case. Next, else if AI not here. Else if AI car current lap is equal to the player car player car current lap, which means that we are on the same lap. Then we compare checkpoints. If AI car next. Currently I can see here the next checkpoint, which means that it's probably private in our script, so we need to make it public in order to get access to it. So here we find variable next checkpoint and make it public. Then we will be able to get access to this variable. Again, AI car dot next checkpoint and compare it with the player car next checkpoint. So if it's bigger, then we increment player car position plus plus. And the last case, if we are on the same lap but checkpoint is the same, then we do another function, then we compare distances. So here we write else if AI car next checkpoint equal to player car next checkpoint. Then we compare distances. to the next checkpoint if vector 3 dot distance AI car transform dot position all checkpoints AI car next checkpoint transform position vector 3. I simply copy these things. Here replace AI car to the player car, so here we simply compare if distance to the next checkpoint is smaller than the player car distance to the next checkpoint, then we also increment the player position. Player position plus plus. So we save this script and try to test it. First of all, I need to attach my car here and also attach all of the AI cars to the list. So if I try to select them, I lose reference to this script. So here I need to click this lock button. Then if I select these references, now I will be able to drag and drop them to the list. So select them and drag and drop them here. Then I can unpin it. So, and also I have player position here, so now we can start the game and check how will change. So currently number 4, and when I move forward, then I second one, again a third one, fifth one, yeah. So now what we wanna make is to display this position on the UI. So we go to the canvas element. When we work with the canvas, it's easy to switch to the 2D mode. And then I copy last 2 labels. Move them to the right side. Align them to the right side. And rename them. This one will be position label, pose label. This one pose indicator. Pose decision. And here by default we write X from X and change its color. Then we go to the UI control script and add new text variable here. Position text. Save it and then we go to the race manager as we deal with the position here. So here we get access to the script UI control dot instance and to the position text. We need to modify the text, so we write dot text and to what value we want to modify it. So we want to write player position, then we have the sign, this one, and also total number of the cars. So for array element we use dot length, but for list element we use count. So if I write just all AI cars, it's not correct because on a track we have more cars. We also have player car. So I need to write +1. Then we will have total number of the car and can see the player position among them. So now let's try to test the script and see whether we'll see this difference here or not. First of all, I need to add position text here. So I drag and drop it. And now let's start again. Yeah, now I can see that I'm the last one. First one. And currently it's really difficult to catch other cars. So what we wanna make next is to add some speed variance to the game. So for example, if AI cars are winning the game, I wanna make them move slower and I wanna make my player car move faster. And otherwise, if the player car wins the game, I wanna move it slower and AI cars move faster, so it will be more fair. And now it's really difficult to catch other cars. So now we'll deal with the speed variance. So we go to the race manager script and add new variables to it. Public float AI default speed. By default, what I mean by default speed is the maximum speed of the car. Our maximum speed of the player car is 30. For AI car it's also 30. So it will be the default speed equal to 30f. Then player default speed also equal to 30f. Then the variable speed variance. How much I wanna take from the car if it's winning the game, or how much I wanna add to the car if it's behind other cars. So this is the speed variance. And same for the acceleration variance. But here it will be the smaller value, so 0.5 f. And these values can be changed later. Then we go to the update function and write part of the code for the speed variance. Manage speed variance. First of all, if we are winning the game, if player position equal to 1, then I wanna make the player car move slower and other car move faster. So again, for each car control AI car in all AI cars AI car, then we modify max speed. Math move towards AI car max speed AI default speed plus speed variance acceleration variance. And we wanna make smooth changes in acceleration, so we write time dot delta time to change it step by step, not at once, but with constant time. So here we accelerate the AI car and we wanna take away some speed from the player car. So here I replace AI car with the player car. Again here. And we wanna take away some speed, so here write minus sign. That in case if we are winning the game. In another case, if we wanna catch up some cars, we write another condition. Again, we write can copy these things and modify them. Again, for each car, AI in all AI cars we modify its speed. And here we wanna make it in some another way, so take away or add not some speed, but depending on the car position. So for example, if the player car is the last one, we wanna add to it the full speed. And if it's the second one, we add just partial speed to it. And same to the AI cars. We wanna take away just part of the speed or full speed. So how we can make that? First of all, here, in case if AI cars are winning the game, we take away some speed from them and take away just part. So here when we have speed variance, we can add some mathematical operation here. So we can write player position divided by all AI cars, again for listed count, and in order to get all cars on track plus 1. And that's how we can add a partial speed to it. So also, for example, the speed is a float value, but these values are int, as you can see here, and max speed is a float, so we need to convert these variables to the float. So for example, here if we have the player position number 2 and here list is 5, then we will have, if we divide them, we will obtain not the integer number, so we need to convert them to the float. So by writing float here, we can simply convert them, and also here float. Then for the player car, player car, here also player default speed, and here player default speed, and we wanna add some speed to it. So again, why we divided them? For example, suppose if we are the last one, 5 from 5, and then we add 5 divided by 5 is 1, so we simply add the full speed variance to the player car in order to catch up other cars. And if we are in another position, second, third, fourth, we add just part of the speed variance, not the full speed. So now let's try to test this part of the code. Now you can see that it's more easy for me to be the one. So it's more fair now. And else, what we wanna make next, as you can see, when I start the game, then the other cars moves immediately, and then I need to catch up them. And what I wanna make is to create a start countdown, 3, 2, 1, then the game started and all of the cars will be able to move at the same time, so it will be more fair. So for this procedure we go to the race manager script and create new variables. Public bool is starting to detect whether we started the race or not, to detect the counter, did it count to 0 or not. Then another variable public float time between start count. So we will wait for 1 second between 3 to 1, so the gap between them will be 1 second. Then we create variable float start counter to count things. Then we create public int variable count down current. So from where we start to count? We start to count from 3. Then in the start by default we wrote is starting equal to true, and we write to the start counter time between start count. Then we go to the update function and here write the condition if is starting. If it's true, then we decrement our counter. Right, start counter and take away some time from it. So time dot delta time. Then if start counter is smaller or equal to 0, then we decrement our variable countdown current. So it will be 3 minus 1 in that case. Minus minus. And if it's 2, it will be 1 and then 0 finally. So after that, again, we need to assign start counter again. We write 1 second to it. And finally, if count down current will be equal to 0, then we write is starting equal to false. So when it's false, we start the game. So when it's false, we execute all of this code. So again, here if it's starting, if it's true, we count. Otherwise, we execute other code. So else, and place all of the code here. Okay, let's try to test it now. So I have counter now here, and let's see how it works. 3, 2, 1, and then we can go. And other car moves that because also we need to add corresponding changes to the car control script. So we go to the car control, and here again, when it's update function, fixed update, so here what we need to write, if race manager instance is starting, so we control this variable and we need to control it for false state, so here add inversion sign. If race manager instance is starting, then we do all of the things. And similar for the fix update, place everything here. So now we save this and test it again. Again, take into consideration this counter, start the game. So now we wait for 3 seconds and then we are able to drive together. Now what we want to make next is to display this counter on the screen. So again we go back to the canvas. Then I duplicate this web indicator and locate it in the middle of the screen. Here I'll write 3, align it to the center, and also duplicate it. And this one will be counter, and this one will be the go display. So when it finished counting, here write go. And currently hide it. Counter. We can also probably can increase counter, so we scale it and can somehow modify scala. And then we go to the UI control script. Here add new variables, count down text and go text. Save and go to the race manager script. Here we need to, when we start our game, we need to start counting. We write UI control instance count down text dot text. Here we write countdown current. Here show us some errors, and this error also will be in Unity, so it write us cannot convert type int to string, but here we also make this conversion for the position lab, so it's pretty the same. For example, if we compare these two things, that we also can see that this is the integer variable and we assign it to the text. So here I don't really know what's the problem. So here we can add a manual conversion. We can add dot and to string. So that's how we can convert this variable to the string format. Then we won't have this error here. Next, when we change the countdown current, also we need to display these changes in the UI. Here, write the same things. And when it's false, we write UI control instance countdown text dot game object set active false. So when we finish counting, we hide this game object, and instead we need to activate the go game object when we finish counting. So here we write instance go text and we set active true, so we activate it. So now we save it and try to test. Firstly, go to the canvas, attach counter, and go text. Okay, also want to see the race, how the car moves. So now, when I click start, it starts counting. Then we can go together with other cars. And this go element is still here, so we wanna hide it after some small time. So for this procedure, I create new script, disable over time. Open this script Here we first of all define time, after which we wanna disable this go component, public float, time to disable. (0.5f). In update function we write time to disable, we decrement it, minus equality sign, and we take away some time from it every frame, time delta time. And if time to disable is smaller or equal to 0, then we set active of this object to the false state, hide it from the scene. Save it, and we need to attach this script to the Go game object. Now try to test again. Now you can see Go and it disappeared. And here we can modify the time after which to hide this component, example 1. So it will be hidden after 1 second. Also, I noticed that sometimes it can be some problems when you move along the track, as it might have some object and our sphere may collide with them, but what we need to make for our sphere is to move along this plane. So here we simply select everything for the track, all the elements, and then we disable mesh collider on track elements, and after that we probably get more smooth movements along the track. So next function I want to show that if the last function for this tutorial is, for example, if car lost somewhere on track, we want to reset back to the track by clicking the R button on the keyboard. So we go to the car control script for this procedure, and in update, if it's not AI, which means that is the player car, we add checking for the input. Get key down, the button key code .r. So when I click this button R on a keyboard, I wanna reset car back to the track. So I will write a new function, reset to track. And create the function itself, reset to track. So move down and create new function. Wait, reset to track. So we wanna reset the car to the previous checkpoint, to the one we are not reached yet. So here, point to go to name of the variable, and this variable will store the checkpoint position to which we want to reset our car. And another thing that our checkpoint, this checkpoint has a 0 number, and the previous checkpoint is the finish one. Yes, let's start. So they will be numbered. So again, this first checkpoint has a 0 number, and the finish checkpoint, when we cross the finish line, it has 24. So when we are here and we want to reset car to here, we need to, this function won't work because 0 minus 1, it will be minus 1. We don't have this checkpoint, so we need to add additional function if point to go to smaller than 0, then point to go to will be equal to raise manager instance all checkpoints length minus 1. So why minus 1? Because in our array of checkpoints the first component is 0, so that's why we need to take away its starting numbering not from 1 but from 0, so that's why we need to take away 1 in order to get access to the last element. So then we reset the position of the car. Right, transform position equal to raise manager instance all checkpoints point to go to its transform position. And when we reset the position of the car, we also need to reset its speed. So we reset the speed of the sphere, RB. Oh no, first of all we also reset the position of the sphere, as car should be follow the sphere, so their position should be the same. So we also write here transform position. And then we also reset the speed of the car and of the sphere. RB velocity equal to vector 3, 0, speed input equal to 0, and also we make turn input equal to 0, so reset everything. Now try to test the script, so we save it, go back to the Unity, play. Now if I go somewhere, I click R button, then I will be back to the track. So as you can see here, I go somewhere, then click R, and I'm back to the track. And again, as we made some modifications here to our game, so it will be more easy to catch up other cars. And also other cars will be, for them it will be more easy to catch me as we also made these modifications. So that's all for this tutorial.